Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining the VooPlayer Q&A weekly webinar. We're going to get started here in just a minute, but before we do, if you'll be so kind as to confirm that you can both hear my voice and see my screen, which should say VooPlayer Q&A on it. If you can, just confirm that in the chat box, and then we can get started. Thank you. Alrighty, got some confirmation in the chat box from Dean and William. Thank you, guys. So welcome to the Q&A webinar. My name is Peter, and I'm the product manager of VooPlayer, and we're holding these webinars in order to answer any questions, provide training, gather feedback on how we can improve, and showcase new stuff that we've been working on, so you can stay up to date and continue to extract more value from VooPlayer. And hopefully that's just what we're going to do today, as we are planning a big announcement. Well, we're kind of already making it, in the progress of making it. So the format of the webinar is pretty straightforward, and anytime that you have a question or a suggestion or a concern or an idea or a thought of any kind, just feel free to drop it in the chat box and we'll address it in the order that it comes in. So if you came prepared with any questions, now will be a good time just to drop them in the chat box. Also worth mentioning is that the replays are available both on the YouTube channel as well as on our Facebook group. And if you are not able to make any of these webinars, just feel free to ask a question in advance, either on the Facebook group or through the support channels or through chat, and we can just address that in the following webinar. Alrighty, cool. Great. So let me just give a quick look at what's going on. No questions thus far. So great. So I'll just roll into the announcement which we're making. So the announcement itself is rolling out to quote unquote power users at this time. But actually, let me pull up the actual announcement so we can take a look at it really quickly. So not to tease you too much. So we are releasing the new method for loading VooPlayer. So this is probably the biggest change that we've made since we created VooPlayer, and it basically reshuffles the entire way in which videos are loaded, which carries quite a significant impact on the load times, the size of VooPlayer itself and how fast that's loading, as well as on the data processing required for everything in the background, from analytics to reading the video source material and streaming it. So this is a big batch of improvements to the performance, and the main reason behind it, of course, is that we've recognized and are fully aware that VooPlayer videos are not performing optimally, and we decided to dedicate last few months, at least, if not more, time to coming up with a new way in which we can improve that performance and impact the user experience of your viewers on your websites in a positive way. And today we are rolling that out as a beta feature. So the announcement itself has been rolling out throughout the application for the last hour or so. So if you log into the application, you'll probably see it, considering that I think everybody on this webinar has been tagged as a power user. So if not, the announcement will come soon, but if you haven't gotten the announcement, all of the features are available. The announcement just kind of breaks it down a little bit. So just from and how you can access this, just so we can be straight up front. So whenever you're generating a new embed code for your player, all you need to do is just turn on the big red toggle which just says beta performance optimizations. And when you toggle that on, that's gonna change your embed code to the new method, and then you can just copy it and embed it somewhere on your website or your pages, and you can start feeling the difference. So from our testing, and these are low-end results, so the impact to the page load times on which WooPlayer is hosted is in the range of anywhere from 3 to sometimes 6 or 7 seconds. So the worst case scenario is the optimal load time has been impacted positively by, or if you prefer, reduced by 3.13 seconds, which is just huge. The weight, or rather the size of the player itself and all of the associated files with it, has been reduced by maybe half a megabyte, and the data processing time, meaning the reading in of the video source material, has also been improved by 0.7 seconds. So all in all, if I wanted to sum this up very briefly, I would say a general improvement of maybe 4 seconds from the initial load of the video to when the video is ready to be played and consequently actually streamed. So there's some technical notes in the announcement with regards to kind of everything that's been done and how it's been done. If you feel like geeking out and reading some more about it, you're welcome to. And also just with regards to kind of explaining why we're tagging this as beta. So we don't want to roll this out to everybody immediately. We kind of want this to sit in a beta period for at least a couple of months, so that we're able to gather some good feedback on how this is being utilized, as well as some analytics behind the performance, which we want to monitor. And once we feel comfortable with this working fully as we wanted to, then we're going to set this as the default for all of the new embed codes in the future. But as I mentioned, it's pretty straightforward. So if you want to take full advantage of this, so I think this rolled out a couple of hours ago. So you should be on version 4.1.5, and this is going to be available. So on any video, you can just come over here to the publish option. So as if you wanted to generate a new embed code, and all you would need to do is just toggle on the beta performance optimization. So once you do that, that's going to change the regular embed code a little bit, and then you can just utilize that to paste it on the website. So as I mentioned previously, and there's some illustrations of how this is working in the video, which is in the announcement. So you're more than welcome to take a look at that as well. Actually, let me give you a link to this. So if you're not able to find the announcement, I'll just paste this in the chat box so you can take a look at it. Actually, let me give you the link to the announcement as well, so you can read that if you like. So both of those links are in the chat box now, so you can review those and let us know what you think. One thing that we really need is people interacting with this and testing it. So as I mentioned, the first batch of people have been officially notified that this is available, and as we kind of gather more and more feedback, we're going to roll out the announcement to more and more people, and hopefully gather more and more feedback. So please, if you have some time, and if performance has been a pain point of yours with regards to how WooPlayer is impacting your page times and user experience, this will be a great thing for you to test and let us know how you are pleased with it, and if you have any suggestions for further improvements. So yeah, as I said, you can just come over here, turn it on, grab the embed code, paste it somewhere on your website, and that's that. I think I have a couple of demos over here, and I actually need to include these in the announcement as well. So over here on the left-hand side is the new beta performance optimized player. So I'll just go ahead and refresh that page. So you can see that just instantly it just appears there, and it's ready for the user to take action on. And in comparison to that, here's the let's call it regular performance with the normal embed code. So as you can see, you have that image and then that loading circle, and just now the video became ready. Whereas again, over here on the left-hand side, instant boom, and you're ready to go. So it's, as I mentioned, it's a pretty big difference, and we put a lot of effort into it. And what's going to make it all worthwhile for us is if you are able to test it out and let us know what you think, and let us know if you run into any issues with the new beta performance optimized embed code, which features, as I mentioned, a lot of different ways to optimize the user experience of your viewers, including better page load times, faster player loading, and faster video loading. I think couldn't ask for more. Again, please test it out. All right, enough of that. Couple of more things that I wanted to mention with regards to sort of some of the upcoming things. Of course, with just one more note on performance. Of course, we're never complete, so there's a lot to be done. So sort of next things on the roadmap with regards to performance, and I think I mentioned this in the announcement, is that we're going to start looking at the infrastructure a lot more, and we're going to start dedicating both resources, both time, money, and effort, human energy, into starting to rethink and reshape and remodel the entire infrastructure behind WooPlayer with regards to all of the cloud and storage services which we are utilizing, just enhancing the quality of the CDN locations and the quality of bandwidth. So we just want to continue giving you better performance. So as I mentioned, we're by no means done with this. We're immediately shifting focus on sort of the bare bones infrastructure, meaning servers, cloud services, and storage blocks. So that's something that's next up on the list. All right, so aside from performance, also next up on the list, as I think I've mentioned on the previous webinar, is we also recognize that there's a lot of room for improvement on how WooPlayer is behaving on mobile devices. So I think I mentioned the entire month of June, our primary focus is going to be optimization on everything on mobile. We kind of already started on that, and some of the improvements are available in this new version which rolled out, and we're just going to continue doing that. Every new release is going to have a lot of mobile improvements, so I'll save that maybe for the next webinar or the webinar down the road, and we can kind of sort of go through all of the mobile improvements as well, as far as behavior on iPhones, behavior in full screens, and so on and so on and so on. So there's a lot to go there. Go through that as well. Also, performance of mobile playback. So yeah, we'll leave that for a separate webinar because there's a lot to talk about there. Also, for anybody new who's joining, one of the recent updates that I'll highlight for the last time on the webinar, because I think people are sick of me talking about it, but I see that a lot of people are reacting pretty good to it, as a lot of new overlay templates are being created on videos. So what people are recognizing is that there is a lot of value in the new overlay templates. So recently we've put together a set of overlay templates which gives you the ability to create very good, professional looking and actionable overlays just by clicking your button around. So if you wanted to create a cool overlay such as this call to action with an image, you can very easily do that, and you can position it, change its colors, change its links, etc., very quickly. And as I said, we put together 14 templates which you're able to utilize, and we've already started gathering a lot of feedback on some new templates which we are considering adding to WooPlayer. So thank you for that. Just a reminder that this is here. Don't forget about it. Keep testing it. Keep playing with it. We're really looking forward to see all of the value which you're extracting from that. I think thus far, sort of the average has been around 150 newly created overlays from templates. So that's something that we're really pleased, and we're also pleased to start seeing them show up in actual videos on websites. So we're sort of considering this as a positive indicator that this has been accepted well by you guys. All right. William, on a related topic, as an overlay suggestion, how can we get the system to show a new video announcements for playlists? If I update my playlist, how can WooPlayer place the pop-up? How can we get the system to show a new video announcements? How can we get the system to show announcements for playlists? If I update my playlist, how can WooPlayer place the pop-up? William, not sure I understand you. Sorry, but so I'll try to answer this as best as I can, and you can just correct me wherever you feel that I missed a part of your question. So if you are working with playlists, so let me give this as an example. So this is a playlist which I have. So the question is, if I update my playlist, so if you change any of the settings for the playlist controls, or if you add additional videos to the playlists, or whatever you do, and if you just save that, there is no action required on your end with regards to anything that you need to do for all of those changes to be reflected. If you somehow wanted to sort of make an announcement within the video that the new video has been added to the playlist, that's best done, I believe, outside of WooPlayer. So if you have a WooPlayer on your page, so for example, this is not necessarily going to be the best way to illustrate this, but let me see. So for example, if you had, pretending that this would be your playlist, and inside of that playlist you had a bunch of videos, and then when you added a new one, you're wondering how can WooPlayer add some sort of an announcement that a new video has been added to the playlist. The answer is I believe it can't, and not necessarily it should. If you want to make an announcement to your visitors, or to your viewers, or to your people taking your course, I don't know necessarily what sort of the context is behind the playlist. I believe you should do that outside of WooPlayer. So you should probably put a lightbox over your page, or put an announcement somewhere next to the playlist that a new video is available within the playlist, because people just interacting with the playlist, they're just going to see the list and not know necessarily which one is a new one. So we don't necessarily want to in any way be responsible for manipulating the communication with your users on sort of what the context is of the page. So if you want to make an announcement, I think that's just best done just by adding a lightbox over your page. Just off the top of my head, this is all well and fine advice that I'm giving you if you do have that playlist embedded somewhere on your web page. However, if you're using the playlist watch page, the URL from the playlist, this thing is, so when you're publishing the playlist, hopefully you're embedding it somewhere on your website rather than just using the share link. If you are using the share link, then there's no way to make an announcement on that page. That's just a video player, not any sort of a announcement maker. If you wanted to kind of fake your way through this couldn't be a pop-up or a lightbox in any way, but you could, for example, so if I had 4 videos currently in my playlist, and I wanted to add, so let's say I had 3 videos, and I added a new one as I did this meditation video clone. As I just added this, you are able to make an announcement of some sort in the first video. So if you wanted to come here into this first video, which is the A/B testing video clone, so I can come into the first video of that playlist, and you can make some sort of an announcement within that. So for an example, I can come over here and to the overlays, and I'll add I think this already had some overlays, so I can add, for an example, a chat box of some sort that I wanted to illustrate, and I can say, since this is the first video, I would assume that everybody's going to see this one when they play the playlist. So I can say something along the lines of, hey, new video so-and-so has been added to the playlist. Please be sure to check it out. Check it out. And I would add my image or change the colors or whatever, and I will just save this as an overlay in the first video. So whenever somebody plays it, they are going to be able to see that announcement, and they would know that it's added to the playlist. Again, perhaps not necessarily something that you're looking to do exactly, but that's something that I would recommend if you're looking to leverage overlays. So just go to the first video and just add a brief chat box telling people that a new video has been added to the playlist and they can check it out. Hopefully that works. And again, if you wanted to do something outside of WooPlayer, like a big overlay over your page, or SMS is a better way to make an announcement, yeah, definitely. External tools that you can communicate or manage the relationship with your clients are definitely there to make your life easier. So why not take advantage of them? All right, cool. Let me see. Did I skip over any other questions? No, William's questions was the only one thus far. All right. If anybody else has any questions, please just drop them in the chat box. Also, just a reminder, it will be really great if you, all of you, have an opportunity to test out the new beta performance optimized player embed code. So hopefully, a lot of people, and I think when we look at the idea board for WooPlayer, let me just pull it up over here on the side, so I'm not showing up anybody's personal details. Just give me 1 second. Bypass something. So this is sort of, and you guys can see sort of the inner workings of our decision-making platform. So I think nobody is visible here, so we don't have any feedback. But with regards to sort of stuff that we're organizing, improving performance has carried a lot of critical feedback and important, and a lot of good feedback and examples have been provided with regards to how we want to improve performance and why it is so important to our users. So it's something that we've been, as I mentioned, given a lot of thought and a lot of work put into it. So 96 feedback points from users since we put this idea board together, and that's been maybe not even 2 months ago, and feedback immediately started rolling in with regards to performance. So that's something that we are hoping that we're a pain point, which we know it's real, and we're hoping that we've come up with a good way to alleviate that. And now is a good chance for us to validate that assumption, and hopefully all of you will find it very, very beneficial. All right, let me check. No other questions. All right, good. So we can start rolling this up a little earlier today. I want to thank you, everybody, for taking the time and joining. Hopefully you will join again next week. And thank you, everybody, for your feedback and your questions. It's really helping us to and motivating us to keep improving WooPlayer. So until next week, bye for now.